Hey, welcome back to yet another edition of Avidgolfer Magazine's Fearless Fantasy Forecast. You can find this on our YouTube subscription page if you want to get all the latest and greatest, and you don't have time to listen to us through all this. But this week is the Vivint Houston Open. Nobody knows what Vivint is. It is a home security outfit. Okay. They're the new sponsor down in Houston, and a new course. Now it's Memorial Park. So Lanto Griffin, who won last year, I don't know, it's a new course.
Yes, no longer at the Golf Club of Houston.
No, it isn't. Last week we won 2 of 4 events, or 2 of 4 teams, and ironically, Craig had 5 of 6 make the cut, and that team did not win any money.
Crazy.
It is crazy.
It's hard to do.
It is. Okay, it's a week before the Masters, so there's some good names in this field. Getting ready. DJ's in it, Phil's in it, Koepka's in it. Did I take any of them? Well, let me tell you. So, I took Lanto Griffin. He is a defending champ. And, yeah, he knows nothing about this course, but he's coming in 7th and 11th the last 2 events. I'm going with the hot numbers here. Stuart Sink. I don't know if his kid's on the bag or not this week. Craig says he's not. But the last 2 tournaments, tied for 12th, tied for 4th. So the old man is finding something. And he won, 3-4 starts ago. And then I took Lee Westwood.
Okay.
Lee Westwood.
Finished with the older contingent this week.
Finished top 30 in his last 8 starts. And top 20s, he's had 6. So that's pretty good. Oh, by the way, Craig is not here today, if you haven't noticed. He hasn't morphed into Eli Jordan. Eli Jordan is Eli Jordan. So Craig is still away. Parts unknown. Hopefully we'll see him next week, but I do have his picks. On one team, I got Russell Henley. Russell Henley, 4 straight top 10s. Very streaky player. James Hahn, 3 straight top 9s. And Danny McCarthy. Craig and I love this guy because his putter's on fire. And his strokes gained approach was tied for 4th last week. That's a good deal for a putter. And on the other team, I took Tony Finau. He hasn't won since forever. He's won 1 event, but he's a top 10 machine. He was tied for 11th last week. Martin Laird won his last event. He's streaky too. Then he took a couple weeks off. And finally, I took a value play, Adam Schenk. Do you realize he's like 3rd on the tour right now in consecutive cuts made?
Yes.
With 11. So, and he's improved every week on that result. So let's get yours, and we'll get Craig's.
Okay.
We'll say see you later.
So I've got several guys that are making their way onto both of my teams this week. Starting off with Team 1, I've got Victor Hovland. Been very consistent so far this year. He's tied for 13th at the U.S. Open, tied for 12th at the CJ Cup. Didn't contend if the Zozo was tied for 47th, but did make the cut there. And the strength of field isn't as good this week, so I expect him to be in the hunt come Sunday. He was also 7th in strokes gained approaching the green for last season. I like Scotty Scheffler, tied for 17th at the Zozo a couple of weeks back in a really strong field. He was tied for 4th at the PGA Championship at TPC Harding Park, which is a very similar type golf course, this park-style course to Memorial down in Houston.
And he's a Texan.
Absolutely. I like Siwoo Kim as well, tied for 8th at the Shriners and then 17th at the CJ Cup. Made 4 out of his last 5 cuts. The only cut he missed during that stretch was the U.S. Open, and U.S. Open obviously, a lot of people can miss cuts at the U.S. Open. It doesn't necessarily reflect how you're playing. Matthew Neesmith, tied for 17th and tied for 8th in his last 2 starts, and he's really been putting the ball well. I like him at that value if you're looking for a value-type play there. Kevin Tway. Now, I know he hasn't been playing too well lately, but he's 36th in total driving distance, and with a weaker field, there won't be a ton of guys this week that are going to be longer than Kevin Tway, and he didn't cost a lot of money here.
That's an outlier.
It is, a little bit. But 3 of the 4 par 4s this week are over 570 yards, so it could be an advantage to the longer hitters. Kevin Tway qualifies there. And then I like Lanto Griffin. You mentioned him for all the reasons we talked about. He won this event last year. Yes, he's a defending champ. Yes, it's at a different course. But I think he'll want to have a good showing this week in defending his title. Team 2, I had Lanto Griffin, Siwoo Kim, and Matthew Neesmith again on this team. The only difference is I've got Tony Finau, as you did.
All right.
A tie for 8th at the U.S. Open, tied for 11th at the Zozo. Again, a long hitter with some long par 5s. And you mentioned it. He's just simply too talented to only have one PGA Tour win. It seems like he's amazing. Any time now he'll break through and have another one. I think this week's a good chance. I've got Austin Cook. A little bit of an outlier here, but made the cut in 10 out of his last 11 events. He was in a playoff at the Shriners a couple of weeks ago, so he's been playing well.
Right.
He's made a lot of cuts. I like him. And then Denny McCarthy, you mentioned him. The putter's been on fire lately, finished tied for 4th at Bermuda last weekend, and he's made 4 cuts in a row, so he's been playing well, and I like him at that value. So there you have it.
All right, those are as good as any. All right, Craig's picks. He has on one team. He has Stuart Sink. Again, not sure if his kid's caddying or not, but he's been on fire for a long time. Lanto Griffin, Terrell Hatton. This is his warm-up for his first major. I don't know if he's going to win next week, but he's been playing really well. Beau Hosler, the Texan, UT grad, 6 straight cuts. And Danny McCarthy for the same reasons we talked about. Second team, Russ Henley, just on fire. And he's as streaky as they come. Alex Noren, boy, he's up and down, but if you catch him on a good week, he's pretty darn good. Doc Redman, who was leading after 3 rounds last week, kind of cratered a little bit, but he has a lot of top 5 finishes. Scotty Scheffler, same reasons that you took him. And then Robbie Shelton, that's his one reach, but he's been good 2 weeks in a row. His Stone Cold Lock, he took him on both teams. James Hahn, 3 straight top 10s. Same reason I took him.
There you go.
So there you go. That's your Vivint Houston Open Fearless Fantasy Forecast. Check us out on YouTube on the Avid Golfer subscription page. You can see Eli, you can see me, can't see Craig. He's AWOL. And best of luck betting this week.